Good morning, my dear students, and good morning to my colleague CA Mayank Jain. And thank you very much for attending this particular session of Cost and Management Accounting. This is the webcast which we are doing for the second time, in fact, in a row. We did it once we have done the mock test paper 1. By this time, I'm sure that your preparation is almost done because exam is not far away. But however, this is the time when you can go for a revision of various topics which you have done. If you have any shortcomings, you may try to remove those shortcomings and probably work on those things. So that's going to be very, very important. You identify the topics from where the descriptive type question as well as the case scenario question may come, and you have to be prepared yourself for any kind of question which may come in your examination. So it's very important that you practice a number of questions. Now I said it at various platforms that this is a subject which requires both your conceptual clarity as well as your practice. So first, I think you can clear your concept, all the concept, and then obviously you can practice a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions in our study material as well, chapter wise, but always you can practice the mock test paper, the revised test paper, not only for this term, but also of the previous term. Please be mindful while calculating different things. Please be mindful for the new treatment. Sometime you may get some new thought process, new adjustment which is to be done, and you have to be very, very particular while doing this kind of adjustments. So when you will be practicing various type of questions, suddenly you will be going through different concept and different application of the concept, and accordingly probably you can prepare yourself to face any kind of situation. Now Mayank will take you through, but few things that this is a subject which mainly dependent on the practical questions. So 70 to 80% questions are practical and 20 to 30% questions are the theoretical question, particularly the last question of the descriptive, that is the theoretical question what we get. So you need to practice a lot of questions from the study material and various other things, because 70 to 80% marks will be depending on that. Give a special emphasis to the case scenario question, because if you can score a little high on those case scenario question, maybe out of 30, if you can score around that, more than 25, that will help you to fetch a very good score in this particular subject. So I will request you to have the conceptual clarity, and I'm sure by this time you already had your conceptual clarity. Now is the time to practice. Mock test paper, we will be discussing a case scenario question. My colleague CA Mayank Jain will take you through. And also, if you have any queries chapter wise, like if you feel that in any of the chapter you have any difficulties, I can see Bhavya is there, a few other student is there. If you have any query, any difficulties in any of the topic, you may ask right now. Or if you feel that you have certain doubts in conceptual clarity of any particular topic, that also we may try to help you. Okay. So with this, Bhavya, do you have any question? I can answer that. If you have any question, technical team may give him speaking right. If okay, fine. Then I'll request Mayank to kindly get through. If I get an opportunity, I will come back and speak to you. So thank you, Mr. Mayank, for shouldering the responsibility of interacting with the students. And students, all the best to you. Any possible, I will join. Kindly start your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So good morning, my dear friends. Myself CA Mayank Jain, and today we are going to discuss about cost and management accounting, paper number 4, intermediate. So first of all, कैसे हैं आप सब? कैसी चल रही है आपकी तैयारी? Hope सब आप अच्छे होंगे. और अच्छी आपकी तैयारी होगी और अच्छे मार्क्स से आप सब पास होंगे. So before starting with the cost and management accounting webinar, I will tell you a brief about this subject and its importance. Cost and management accounting is not just about numbers, it's about the strategic decision making and how it will helpful in your real life as well as in your professional life. So cost accounting, what is cost accounting? Cost accounting is basically the calculating and the controlling costs like material, labor, and the overhead, while management accounting is using that cost for strategic decision making, for performance evaluation, or maybe for budgeting, forecasting. And while making the decision, you will use those data and help your company or your own business to grow, while at the same time you will able to reduce your cost, optimize your resource properly, and as well as you are able to increase your profit. While just like in labor costing, you will calculate the various incentive plans. In this way you will also increase your morale of your employees. So cost and management accounting play a crucial role in your life. So you have to go through this chapter very carefully, and for examination purpose you have to practice each and every question, you have to understand each and every concept thoroughly and practice from the study material, uh, mtps, rtps, past question papers and the previous year suggested answers, and you have to practice lot and lot more. So we'll before we begin with, we'll tell you the point of discussion for today's. So today we'll discuss the syllabus and their weightage and the analysis of question paper, how question paper is structured, and the summary of each chapter, a little bit summary of each chapters, and some preparation tips, how to revise and how to prepare for the examination, and some of the examination do's and don'ts. And thereafter we'll discuss one or two case scenarios of second MTP, which you have hopefully gone through the same. So we'll start with the weightage. There's first of all, we start with the skill-wise weightage. Skill-wise weightage means there's some theoretical part and there's some practical part. Theoretical part covers around 20 to 30%, and the practical parts covers around 70 to 80%. सो जब भी आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे होंगे, आपको माइंड में ये नहीं रखना है कि आपको थियोरिटिकल पार्ट नहीं करना है या प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट पे सिर्फ फोकस करना है तो आप पास हो जाएंगे. थियोरिटिकल पार्ट आपको गो थ्रू करना है. दिस पार्ट विल हेल्प यू टू गेन सम मार्क्स at the last of your exam, and the practical part also covers an important role. So you have to prepare both practical and the theoretical part. Now we'll cover the syllabus wise weightage or the section wise weightage. So first part, the overview of cost and management accounting covers the introduction part and the cost sheet. Since introduction part covers only the theoretical part, and the cost sheet is the one of the most important chapter of this subject, since it will help you to prepare a cost sheet or help you to analyze the various costs for both manufacturing and the service sector. And this part covers around 11 to 18 marks, which means 10 to 15%. So you have to focus on both theoretical and the cost sheet part for gaining around 11 to 18 marks in your exam. Next is ascertainment of cost and the cost accounting system. I've already told you there is a cost accounting and the management accounting. Both are different. This part covers the cost accounting, including the material cost, labor cost, overhead, ABC, and integration of cost accounting. So this part covers around 41 to 47%, which means around 30 to 35 to 40%. So when you go through the cost accounting, you are able to cover your 35 to 40% marks. And this is very easy. You have to just practice your questions. You have to understand the concept and you are able to get your answer very easily. The next part is methods of costing. Which method is to be applied by the process costing? while something is prepared in batch 1, batch 2, you have to apply a batch costing, and you have given us something particular job like interior decoration. You have to apply the job costing. So these are the different, covers around 24 to 30 marks, means 20 to 25% marks. And this covers both theoretical and the practical question. You have to go through everything from the study material. Next is cost control and analysis, basically the management accounting. And this is one of the most important chapters from your practical as well as real life experience, or in a real life application, I can say. So whenever you are doing an analysis, you need past year data, you will forecast for the future data, you will analyze both the data, you will calculate the variances in your actual data and your forecasting. In this way, you are able to make some decisions, like in marginal costing. If you are going to open a new company, or you're starting a new product line, or you want to accept some special order, or you have to make decision whether you have to make any particular component in your company, or whether you want to buy it from outside, something like this, you have to calculate the variable costing or the marginal costing, in which you will calculate the incremental cost and the incremental profit, and you are able to calculate the actual profit from the new product line or the new service line, or from accepting a special order, or whether to make in-house or buy from or outsource the product. And the last one, the budget and the budgetary control. Basically, you will prepare a budget for your future expenses, and you will do the expenditure within that budget amount, and sometimes your expenditures exceed those budget. And in this way, you can calculate how much your expenditure is incurred, and how much it exceeds from the budget, and how you can control it, and what are the main differences due to which you are exceeding your budget. In standard costing, marginal costing, and the budgetary control, you are able to make decisions wisely and optimize your resource properly and efficiently. In this way, you will improve your efficiency, reduce your cost, improve your employees' morale, and reduce the wastage. And all this will help you to increase your profit, which is the bloodline of any business or any service industry. So, and it also covers the 32 man, or you are working as a professional. It will help in your all areas. So before starting, if anybody has any doubt, you may ask. You can also drop it on chat box. Webinar, the summary of distribution of marks, like structure of question paper. It is divided into the two parts. Division A, which covers the case-based scenarios, and next division B, which is a descriptive one. In case scenario based MCQs, which cover 30 marks, there are two case scenarios. Each case scenarios of 5 MCQs of 2 marks each, and the 5 caselets of 2 marks each. So in division A, you are able to score good marks while managing your time efficiently, since you don't have to answer properly. You just have to mark your option. You can do your rough work in the rough sheet. In this way, you will save your marks and get the good marks. Next one is division B, which is a descriptive one. It contains 6 questions. Question number 1 is compulsory, and the next 5 questions are optional, in which one question is optional. So question number 1 is compulsory, which covers 3 questions totaling of 14 marks, and the next 5 questions also covers the 14 marks, which may be a combination of 2 questions, 3 questions, or sometimes maybe of 4 questions. It depends upon the examiner. And the last question is theoretical part. And one most important thing, while attempting the question paper, attempt your theory question in the last. While attempting your theory question, you will spend a lot of time in writing and writing and writing. theory question will be when attempted in the last, you will write something from the study material, whatever you remember. You will able to score some good marks while attempting in the last. But if you attempt in the starting, you will lose your lot of time while attempting the theory question, and you will lose your confidence due to the lack of time. So start with those questions in which you have confidence, especially in those practical questions. And thereafter, when you have done with your practical questions, or you have very little less time, and you have to score some marks, you can attempt your theory questions. But try to attempt all theory questions. It will help you to gain good marks, help you to gain exemption, or help you to pass. So make your strategy wisely and attempt your answer paper accordingly. Now the preparation strategies, some of the strategy you have to prepare, you have to follow while preparing for the examination. First of all, you have to go through your study material thoroughly, go through each and every concept thoroughly, understand the meaning of every topic, and try each and every example of that topic. Then go through the next concept, try the example. In this way, you will, when you go through any concept, you are able to get your grip on that concept when you go through the example. So this way you will clear your concept. While preparing, you will make your self notes, brief notes, because when you write something from your own hands, it will remember for the lifetime, or at least for some times till the exam. So make your brief notes. You can make it from the Saransh or from the book. So make your brief notes. Discuss the difficult topics with your friends who are preparing for the same subject. Discuss with your faculties, teachers, or your seniors. Because when you discuss something, you will remember it for a lifetime. जब भी आपको कोई दिक्कत होगी, आपको याद आएगा कि मैंने ये चीज डिस्कस करी थी और इसमें मुझे ये डाउट आया था, तो इसको मैंने ऐसे ऐसे डिस्कस होके ऐसे सॉल्व हुआ था. सो जब भी आप किसी चीज को डिस्कस करते हो, आप when you speak something, it will go through your complete process, and it will stay in your mind for a longer period of time. And after that, allot a specific time for every topic. Don't stick to it, but try to give specific time or allocate specific time, just like you are giving a you are giving a lot of time to your chapter number 1, which is a theoretical question. Yeah, you have to allocate time properly. You have to give less time to chapter number 1, while you have to give more time to cost sheet while practicing the more and more questions. For theoretical question, you will read and go through each and every concept, make your own notes, underline those important point in the book, and you will write those important point in the exam, and to the point in the exam. Don't be writing pages and pages and pages, just filling your pages, and there's nothing useful. कुछ भी यूजफुल नहीं है, आप बस लिखे जा रहे हैं, उसमें से कुछ भी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट नहीं है लिखने का. So stick to your points. While since the exams are coming, remove your all the social media's account for some times, like Instagram, especially Instagram, which will cover your lot of time. Because when you start scrolling, you don't know आगे आपका कितना टाइम स्पेंड हो गया है. आपका 1 घंटा हो जाएगा, आप कहोगे यार अभी तो मैंने ये देखना शुरू करा था, लेकिन आप जब वॉच देखोगे, आप घड़ी देखोगे, तो आपको लगेगा यार 1 घंटा हो गया है. और this will lose your confidence, and also reducing your screen time will gain your confidence, as well as you will able to improve your motivation, your concentration, everything. And the next point, do yoga exercise daily for 10 minutes for yoga and at least an half hour exercise. It will increase your concentration, confidence, and it will boost your confidence through when you can actively study while your bodies allow you for the same. Next is what to study. I already said study from the study material, do practice from the RTPs, MTPs, previous year question paper. Try to attempt the previous year question paper in the same time, that is 2 to 5, in the same examination condition, while allowing someone from your family to take care of the time and follow just like an invigilator or the just a classroom principal or the classroom monitor. They will see whether you are doing it in a proper time, you are not wasting your time in anything while attempting your previous year question paper. Now when you attempt your previous year question paper, match your answer with the suggested answer and see what are the differences. क्या क्या आपकी गलती हैं, क्या सजेस्टेड आंसर में था, क्या आपके आंसर में है, और क्या मिस्टेक्स हैं, कहाँ पे आप लैग कर रहे हैं, कौन कहाँ पे आप इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. सो फॉलो योर स्ट्रैटेजी एंड read and go through the saransh. Whenever you complete your chapter, go through the saransh in the last. It is a quick summary notes. It will help you to go through the chapter within some minutes. This I've already discussed. Conceptual understanding is must. Understand the logic behind every formula, especially in the standard costing and the stock levels, how the maximum stock level is derived, how economic order quantity is derived, how standard costing formulas are calculated, what is the reason behind that formula, practice questions, practice previous year question papers. You may attend the live virtual classes which are free of cost. You will clear your all doubt from the faculties. You can also attend live virtual revisionary classes in which you can ask your all the doubts. Uh, Next is make your formula sheet. I've already said. So if you have any doubt in this, you may ask. Yes, Aditi. You may log in through the BS Knowledge portal, or since there is no Zoom link is shared with the student for this webinar, you may join it through the BS Knowledge portal. Anyone have any doubt? Yes. So what are the common mistakes in the exam and how you can avoid them? So first thing is lack of conceptual understanding. Sometimes you know the answer, but you don't know how to attempt the answer. This is due to the lack of conceptual understanding. You have to understand the concept, and when you have a strong grip on the concept, you can answer any question. Sometimes the question is exactly same from your past any publication issued by the ICAI, but there's some trick in addition to those questions, and you remember those questions, but you don't know how to attempt that trick. When you know how to attempt that trick, due to the strong grip of concept, you can attempt that answer in a few minutes. It will save your time and help you to gain a lot of marks. Next is chapter specific mistakes which are done by the students. Like in standard costing, you just trying to memorize formula without grasping the logic behind that formula. So when you're attempting the examination, you have a lot of pressure on your mind. You just mix your formulas since you don't know what is the logic behind that formula. You will mix the efficiency and the usage formula. You will mix yield and the mix formula. So you have to understand the logic behind that formula. Next is process costing. You will struggle with the wastage calculation. For improving your efficiency, for grasping a strong grip on process costing, you have to practice a lot and lot of questions for the wastage calculation and for calculating equivalent units. And wastage calculation is actually a reverse calculation. You just go through the formulas, you just attempt the question, but you don't understand how we are calculating it. It is actually a reverse calculation. You have to understand this concept. Next is like in ABC, you are unable to hunt down the cost drivers or the cost centers. You don't know what is the cost driver of any particular cost, what is the cost center of any particular cost. So you have to understand the concept very thoroughly. And now the common mistakes in the exams, like the poor time management, I've already said, use of wrong formats. You will write your answer in just like you are writing in a rough paper. Use the proper formats. Confusing with the various formulas of standard costing or the method of apportioning the joint cost. You will read the question from the above, not reading the question properly. What is the requirement of the question? You are attempting the question in another way, but the requirement of the question is something else. Next is giving more time to the theory portion, I've already said. And some of the other common mistakes are like not reading question paper properly, I've already said, giving more time to the theory, and losing your confidence. Just calm your mind for 2 minutes before starting, before writing. Just do meditation or calm your mind for just a 2 minute. This is a mandatory part of your examination. You read your question paper, relax, sit back, put your pen down, and relax for 2 minutes. And remember your parents, your God, in which you believe. Just take their name and take a long breath, then start writing. It will boost your confidence, it will remove your pressure, and you are able to attend each and every question very confidently. So, in this way, you can avoid your mistakes in the examination. How to present proper, give your proper headings, subheadings, use proper formats, show step by step calculation, write question number properly, and while attempting any question, give question number properly. Also give some space before starting the next question, and use point wise format for the theory question if possible. It will save your time as well as it will help for the checker to catch your point, what you want to say, what is the most important point of the answer. So try to write your answer in a point wise format. How to revise, I've already said, use the Saransh for the quick reference, make a short notes for the theory part as well as for the formulas, highlight or the bold portions in the modules, like highlight the most important part in the study material. In this way, you can revise. Some of the examination do's and don't, I already said. These are some of the chapter short, maybe I can say the tips or the important points. Material costing we have already covered in the last webinar after the MTP one. We have also covered the treatment of loss in material, what are the different types of loss of material and what are their treatments, what are the important points in the material costing. You may take a screenshot. You can also take a screenshot of treatment of loss of material. Please take your screenshot if required. Next is employee cost. We have already covered in our last webinar. What is the idle time, normal idle time, and the abnormal idle time? We have already covered. What are the different wage systems and the employee turnover methods? What are the important points in the examination for the employee cost? Overheads is already covered. We've already covered what is the difference between allocation of overheads, apportionment of overheads, and the absorption of overhead, and further the reapportionment of overhead. So you have to understand the difference between these three terms, or the I can say the four terms. Because you got confused between these terms, you got confused what is the meaning of allocation, what is the meaning of apportionment, and what is the meaning of absorption. Question is asking for the apportionment, but you are allocating. Question is asking for absorption, but you are apportioning. So you have to understand the each and every point of overhead properly, so you can get the differences between these terms. These are the important points. You may take screenshot. ABC we have already covered. Basically, this is the further part of overheads, how the overheads are distributed. For current companies, they don't use the traditional costing methods. They use the new costing methods like ABC. How the cost is divided. Because in traditional costing, we use the machine hour rate method or the labor hour rate method. It will just uh, create a confusion, or just divide the cost on the basis of machine hours. But in today's scenario, now the cost is divided on the basis of cost drivers like the setup cost, or the material handling cost, or the production cost. So your cost is divided on the basis of particular cost driver. You are able to get your product cost properly, and in this way you can charge your customer wisely. And these are the some of the important point to remember in the ABC, like the theory questions may be asked from the ABC. Computation of rate per unit for the cost allocation base, computation of cost per unit using a ABC. I've already said this point. Cost center and the cost driver play an important role in ABC, and this can be overcome by practicing more and more questions. Next is cost sheet. You will go through this cost sheet or the cost statement. It is already given in the book. You have to understand the its process, how it is followed, how cost sheet is followed, and how any particular cost is calculated, what is covered in the factory overhead, what is covered in the factory cost, what are the part of primary cost, what are the part of cost in the cost of production, and what is covered in the cost of goods sold, admin overheads, and the last is cost of sales. You just have to go through the each part of the cost sheet thoroughly. Next one is process and the operation costing or the process costing. The most important part in the process costing is the calculation of losses and the gain, including normal losses, abnormal losses, and the abnormal gain. In this part, student got confused. Next part is equivalent costing. This is also one of the most important point. If your concept are clear for this treatment of losses and gains and the equivalent production unit, you can attempt every question, each and every question of the process costing very easily like this. So go through the how normal process is calculated, how abnormal process is calculated, what are the procedure to calculate its cost, how it is treated in the process costing, what is the abnormal gain, how it is treated in the costing, and what is equivalent production units, and how it is calculated and how it will help you to solve your questions. There are two types of method for WIP, FIFO method and the average cost method. Please note there is no LIFO method for the WIP, and as you know, LIFO method is removed from the accounting standard as well. So you have to focus on FIFO method and the weighted average cost method, and how in the process profit is calculated. And these are the some of the important points. You may take screenshot: preparation of costs, process accounts, normal loss, abnormal gain, inter-process profit, valuation of WIP, finished products using different methods, equivalent units, and the wastage calculation, which is actually a reverse calculation. I've already said this. Next is joint product and the byproduct. There is a difference between the joint product and the byproduct. Byproduct is something basically the I can say the wastage part, which or the dead part of the joint process, which can't be sold alone, or sometimes it may be sold alone only as a scrap. It is a material discarded from the main process, while the joint product are the two or more product derived from the joint process or derived from any particular process. They contain more or less of the same value, or maybe not of the same value, but have a huge value or a that value which can be sold easily in the market. And the co-product. Next is the method of apportioning joint cost over the joint product. Physical unit method, NRV method, one of the most important method, and the other method or the other technical estimates like contribution margin method, average unit cost method, market value after further processing, market value at the point of separation. These are the some of the joint apportioning methods. If and treatment of byproduct, this is one of the most important area from the point of view of theoretical quotient and the joint and the byproduct chapter. If they are of small value, considerable to, if they are of some considerable total value, if they require further processing, how it is treated in the cost accounting. So these are some of the important points to remember. If you have any doubt till now, you may ask. So before further starting with the further chapters, we'll do a one case scenario of cost sheet. So please take your time, take 2 minutes to read this part. Basically, this part is only information about the company. but you may read for 2 minutes. It will provide you a real life experience. So I will read the question. Jain Manufacturing Private Limited, headquartered in Pune, Maharashtra, is a mid-sized but rapidly growing enterprise specializing in the production of precision engineered automobile components tailored specifically for the electric vehicle industry, EV industry. With the EV segment, with India's EV segment witnessing exponential growth driven by sustainability goals and the government incentives, Jain has emerged as a trusted tier 2 supplier to some of the country's leading electric vehicle manufacturers. The company operates with a mission to deliver high quality, durable, technologically advanced components that meet stringent safety and efficient standards. Its operation encompasses R&D, material procurement, in-house manufacturing, logistics support, all backed by a strong team of engineer, production planners, and administrative personnel. With a focus on continuous process improvement and the cost competitiveness, Gen undertakes annual internal cost audit to evaluate operational efficiency, internal cost leakages, support strategic decision making. As part of this year's financial review for the period ending 31st March 2025, the company has appointed you, a newly hired cost consultant, to analyze its cost performance, prepare comprehensive cost sheet. So you have to prepare a comprehensive cost sheet. This question is of the cost sheet. Evaluate the profitability of the operation based on financial data provided. So this is the financial data. You may take a screenshot and will take 2 minutes. Now the important part of the question comes. We'll start with the question after 2 minutes. Please take your time. So let's start with the question. Purchase of raw material, consumable material used, direct labor wages, freight and carriage inward, wages to floor, supervisor and the store assistant, indirect wages to factory staff, R&D expenses related to enhancing production methods, salaries to account and the admin staff, penalty paid for the late payment of interest, employer's contribution to EPF and ESI, electricity and the fuel used in production, production scheduling and the planning, office expenses, delivery and the personal salaries, income tax, statutory audit fees, cost and audit fees, honorarium to independent board members, contribution to disaster relief fund, and the total value of sale. And some inventory detail is also given, the opening inventory and the closing inventory for raw material, WIP, and the finished goods. So before starting with any case scenario, you have to read your question first. Now you have gone through the cost sheet. Since it is a cost sheet part, it will not you have not wasted your time before with reading your question first. But sometimes you don't know what is the requirement of the question, you just read the case scenario, then you read the question, then again you have to read your scenarios, and you have to mark your points what is the requirement of the question. So before starting with reading the case scenario, you have to read the question first. In this way you know what is the requirement of the questions, and when you are reading a case scenario, you can mark those requirements accordingly. It will save your time as well as energy to attempt your question paper efficiently. So we'll read the question. What is the prime cost of Gen Manufacturing Private Limited for the year ended 31st March 2025? So we'll start with the formula prime cost. What is prime cost? Material cost plus labor and और क्या इंक्लूड होता है इसमें? डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस. सो मुझे आप बताइए मटेरियल कॉस्ट हमारी कितनी है? You can reply on chat box. Give your answer. इसमें क्या क्या इंक्लूड होगा हमारा? रॉ मटेरियल कंज्यूम प्लस और बताइए क्या इंक्लूड होगा हमारा? कैरेज इनवर्ड. उसके अलावा हमारा क्या इंक्लूड होगा? डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट. डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट कौन सी है हमारी? दिस वन. अब हम मटेरियल कॉस्ट की अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें हम ओपनिंग स्टॉक ऐड करेंगे, रॉ मटेरियल का क्लोजिंग स्टॉक माइनस करेंगे. इन दिस वे वी विल गेट द मटेरियल कॉस्ट. रॉ मटेरियल परचेज, then the carriage inward part we'll add, then we'll add this one and deduct this one. So आप मुझे बताइए मटेरियल कॉस्ट कितनी आएगी? यस राइट वंशिका. 1 crore 35,000. नाउ लेबर. लेबर में हमारे कौन कौन सा पार्ट आएगा? डायरेक्ट वेजेस हमारे 9,60,000 है. देन हमारे पास इसमें बताइए और क्या है? हमारे पास है ईपीएफ ईएसआई जो कि हमारा 8 लाख. टोटल हमारा कितना हो गया? इसके अलावा और कोई पार्ट आएगा यहाँ पे? डायरेक्ट लेबर वेजेस. अब मैंने आपको एक चीज बोली है, वेजेस एंड फ्लोर सुपरवाइजर इसमें कवर होंगे, और आपने बोला यस. सो यू आर रॉन्ग. इसमें फ्लोर सुपरवाइजर इंक्लूड नहीं होंगे क्योंकि ये हमारे डायरेक्ट लेबर का पार्ट नहीं है. इसमें सिर्फ हमारा इंक्लूड होगा 72 lakhs एंड द 8 lakhs. मुझे टोटल बताइए. यस राइट राहुल. 80,80,000. नेक्स्ट इज डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस. डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस में हमारे क्या कवर होंगे? कंज्यूमेबल मटेरियल एंड द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड द फ्यूल. 30,50,000 एंड द 5,25,000 which comes to total of 35,75,000. तीनों को ऐड कर देंगे हम, हमारी प्राइम कॉस्ट आ जाएगी. कितनी आएगी? यस स्टूडेंट्स, फ्रेंड्स बताइए. यस राहुल, 2,16,90,000. So we'll move to the next requirement of the question. What is the factory cost? I'll, अब आप मुझे बताइए फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट में क्या क्या कवर होता है। इसी में हम जब वर्क ओवरहेड्स ऐड कर देंगे हमारा हो जाएगा फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट। इसमें हमें एक चीज और करनी है, WIP प्लस करना है ओपनिंग का, क्लोजिंग WIP माइनस करना है, तो हमारी ये फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट हो जाएगी। ओवरहेड्स में मुझे बताइए क्या क्या इंक्लूड होगा। अब आपका ये सुपरवाइजर सैलरी एंड द स्टोर असिस्टेंट है, ये हमारा ओवरहेड्स का पार्ट है। इसके अलावा हमारा क्या क्या है, इनडायरेक्ट वेजेस, ये हमारा ओवरहेड्स का पार्ट है। इसके अलावा और कुछ हमारा इंक्लूड होगा, इसमें से कुछ इंक्लूड होगा, R&D एक्सपेंसेस या कुछ और नहीं, ये हमारा R&D एक्सपेंसेस फर्दर फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट में हमारा ऐड होगा। तो हमारा टोटल कितना हो गया, इनमें ओवरहेड हमने ऐड करे 9,60,000 एंड 1,75,000। इसमें हमने ओपनिंग WIP ऐड करेंगे 8,50,000, डिडक्ट करेंगे 7,25,000। तो बताइए आप मुझे यहाँ पे टोटल हमारा फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट कितनी आ गई। यस वंशिका, यस राहुल बताइए। यस ज्योति बताइए, आप बताइए। यस राइट ज्योति, ये हमारा हो गया 2,29,50,000। तो what is the next requirement of the question? What is the cost of production? Now the cost of production, for calculating the cost of production, you have to now add R&D plus आपको देखना है कुछ और इसमें ऐड करने का है। इनडायरेक्ट वेजेस R&D हो गए, सैलरी हमारा अकाउंट्स एंड एडमिन की हमारा एडमिन ओवरहेड में जाएगा। पेनल्टी आप मुझे बताना कहाँ जाएगा। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड फ्यूल हमारा हो चुका है। प्रोडक्शन शेड्यूलिंग एंड प्लानिंग ऑफिस एक्सपेंसेस, ये हमारा इसमें जाएगा PSPOE, दिस वन अमाउंट, ये हमारा फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट में ऐड होगा। डिलीवरी पर्सनल सैलरीज, ये हमारा सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में जाएगा। इनकम टैक्स हमारा आप बताइए कहाँ जाएगा। स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट फीस आप मुझे बताना, कॉस्ट ऑडिट फीस बताना, ऑनरेरियम बताना आप मुझे, कंट्रीब्यूशन टू डिजास्टर रिलीफ फंड। अभी हम R&D ऐड करते हैं 11,20,000 एंड द 10,50,000। मुझे आप टोटल बताइए कितना होगा इसका। यस राइट ज्योति। स्टूडेंट प्लीज पार्टिसिपेट, गिव योर आंसर, गिव योर कैलकुलेशंस। नेक्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट इज कैलकुलेशन ऑफ COGS। कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में हम क्या ऐड करेंगे, ये हमारा COP आ गया कि हमें COGS चाहिए। इसमें हम ओपनिंग फिनिश गुड्स ऐड करेंगे एंड द क्लोजिंग फिनिश गुड्स माइनस करेंगे। वेरी इजी, 16,20,000 हम ऐड कर देंगे, 11,80,000 हम माइनस कर देंगे। इसका टोटल हो गया हमारा 2,58,000, 2,58,60,000। The next requirement of the question is the net profit for Gen manufacturing। नेट प्रॉफिट हमारा कैसा निकलेगा, इसमें हम COGS में क्या ऐड करेंगे आप मुझे बताइए। बताइए बताइए। यस कनिका, एडमिन ओवरहेड हम ऐड करेंगे, उसके बाद हम सेलिंग ओवरहेड ऐड करेंगे, In this way, we get the cost of sales plus profit, and we are given the sales value. So this may be the balancing figure. COGS हमारे पास आ चुका है. एडमिन ओवरहेड में आप मुझे बताओ क्या क्या आएगा. ये मैंने कहा था एडमिन में आएगा. पेनल्टी पेड बताइए हमारी किसी में आएगी. पेनल्टी पेड हमारी किसी में नहीं आएगी. ये फाइनेंशियल आइटम है. ये आपको नोटिस करना है, ये आपको फोकस करना है. एम्प्लॉयर कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारा हो चुका है. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी हमारा हो चुका है. प्रोडक्शन शेड्यूलिंग हो चुका है. डिलीवरी एंड द पर्सनल सैलरीज ये हमारा सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में आएगा. इनकम टैक्स हमारा फाइनेंशियल आइटम है, ये हमारा कॉस्ट शीट में नहीं जाएगा. स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट फीस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एडमिन ओवरहेड. Cost audit fee is also a part of admin overhead. Honorarium is also a part of admin overhead. Contribution to disaster relief fund is nothing a financial item. It will go into the finance. So ये हमारा नहीं आएगा, ये हमारा नहीं आएगा, एंड पेनल्टी हमारी नहीं आएगी. तो हमें क्या चाहिए? सैलरी. ये हमारा सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. ये हमें एडमिन, एडमिन एंड द एडमिन. Total 4 admin and the 1 selling and distribution part. तो एडमिन का टोटल हो गया हमारा. एडमिन का टोटल बताइए मुझे. यस, राइट राहुल. बाकी लोग भी रिप्लाई करो. 22,15,000. Next is selling and distribution is only a one part, 15,20,000. Now the total of cost of sales is COGS. इसमें हम ऐड करेंगे ये दोनों चीजें. 2,95,95,000. सेल्स वैल्यू हमारे पास ऑलरेडी गिवन है 3,12,80,000. प्रॉफिट हमारा बैलेंसिंग फिगर से कितना आगे मुझे बताइए. आदिति, भव्य, राहुल, ज्योति, वंशिका, कनिका. यस वंशिका, यस राहुल, राइट राइट. ज्योति, यस. ऐसे ही आपको पार्टिसिपेट करना है. ग्रेट. तो आपका ये भी आ गया. इसमें आपने क्या करा, पूरी की पूरी एक कॉस्ट शीट प्रिपेयर करी है और आपके सारे आंसर आते चले गए. तो इसमें आपको कॉस्ट शीट बनानी थी बेसिकली. अब आप कॉस्ट शीट इसको रफ में बना सकते थे, आपको जरूरी नहीं है आपको पूरा लिख लिख के दिखाना है. आप एक शॉर्ट वर्ड में आप बनाते जाओ अपने रफ में. एक लाइक WIP, ओपनिंग WIP है तो OP WIP लिख दिया आपने. ओवरहेड्स के लिए आपने वेजेस लिख दिया, खाली एक रफ में स्क्रिबल कर दिया. इनडायरेक्ट पेजेस आपने स्क्रिबल कर दिया. आपके सारे एक्सपेंसेस आपने स्क्रिबल करके लिख लिया. आपने कॉस्ट शीट स्क्रिबल करके बना ली. अब सारे आंसर इसमें वेरी इजीली यू कैन आंसर योर क्वेश्चंस. तो अब हम वापस अपने समरी पे जाते जहां हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे. उसके बाद फिर हम एक और क्वेश्चन करेंगे लास्ट में, एंड देन we'll move with the summary. Next is service costing. Service costing plays an important role when you are working in the service industry, or you are providing any service. You have to calculate your cost for providing that particular service, and for calculating your cost you have to know the equivalent unit or the composite unit. Sometimes, like for transport, it is a cost per passenger kilometer. So when a passenger is traveling for a 10 kilometer, you have to calculate the total cost for that 10 kilometers. In this way, you can calculate your fare for a particular passenger. It covers your transport industry, hotel, hospital, IT company, toll roads, education institutes, insurance, financial institutes, and the other service industries. Next one is standard costing, one of the most important chapter from your professional life as well as for the examination purpose. In your intermediate, you will cover the material cost variance, labor cost variance, and the overhead cost variance, including the variable overhead cost variance and the fixed overhead cost variance. So while calculating the usage variance, you can easily calculate the price variance. But while calculating the usage variance or the efficiency variance, you will get confused between the mix and the yield variance. You have to understand what is the meaning of mix and what is the meaning of yield and what are the main differences between these two terms. In labor variance, you have to calculate the mix and yield variance, including the variable overhead variance. And this also you have to calculate the efficiency variance. And for fixed overhead variance, you have to calculate the expenditure variance as well as the volume variance, efficiency variance, capacity variance, and the calendar variance. So these are the summary sheet. You may take screenshot. And material in the mix variance, what is the main difference? This is the RSQ is calculated in both, but in yield variance, you use a standard quantity. In mix variance, you use the actual quantity. It means the difference between the actual quantity in the standard proportion and the actual quantity in the actual proportion. And for the yield variance, it is the difference between the standard quantity for the actual production and the actual quantity in the standard production multiplied by the standard price. Hope you have taken the screenshot. Similarly, for the labor cost variance, please take the screenshot if you required. In labor idle time variance, you have to calculate the actual hours paid and the actual hours worked. Sometimes employee is paid for the 10 hours a day, but he's actually working only for the 8 hours, 2 hours including the normal idle time and the abnormal idle time, like for the lunch break, for the tea break, which is a normal idle time. But sometimes there's a just fire breakage in the company, or there's a defect in the machinery. So this is the abnormal idle time. So you have to calculate the difference between the actual hours paid and the actual hours worked. And while calculating the labor rate variance, you have to use the labor hour paid. And for efficiency variance, you have to use the actual hours worked. Where there is a hedge, there is an actual hour worked, and when there is a star, there is equals to the actual hours paid. So you will get the difference between the actual hours worked and the actual hours paid, and where you will use the paid and the worked. Next is variable overhead cost variance. You may take a screenshot. It is only the efficiency variance and the expenditure variance. This also covers the actual hours worked, not paid. Next is fixed overhead cost variance. You have to know the difference between the budgeted, absorbed, and the actual fixed overhead. Budgeted overhead is different, and the absorbed overhead is different. And for calendar variance, you have to use the actual number of days and the budgeted number of days. For calendar variance, when your actual number of days are more than the budgeted number of days, you will got the favorable variance. Sometimes you think actual number of days are more, so you get the adverse variance since you are working for more days. But since you are working for more days, you will improve your production, you will get more productivity. So you will get the favorable variance when actual number of working days are more than the budgeted working days. These are the important points. Sometimes you are given the missing figures, you are given some information, some variances, you have to calculate the missing figure. Now many times this types of questions for missing figures are asked in the question paper. You have to Practice this types of question as well. Calculation of variances when direct figures are given. This is a direct question. So you have to be conceptually strong to understand each and every question and to attempt each and every question. Next is marginal costing. Marginal costing is nothing a variable costing or the incremental costing. In this, you will calculate the incremental cost or increase in per unit of cost when you increase your production or when you produce more than your capacity, more than your normal capacity. So marginal costing is basically a variable costing. So please go through these formulas, take your 2 minutes, or if you have any doubt, you may ask from these chapters or from marginal costing or the chapter we have covered till now. Break even point is the area or the point where the total cost equals to the total sales value. The point where we don't have any loss or the profit, which is fixed cost divided by the contribution per unit. Similarly, for cash break even, it is a cash fixed cost and divided by the contribution per unit. And for multiple product break even analysis, you have to calculate by taking weight. That is the sales quantity or the sales value or the product. Means you will take the weightage, you will multiply the contribution, the cost with it, with the weights with it, and in this way you can calculate the break even point for the multi product. These are the common formula: sales minus variable cost equals to the fixed cost plus minus profit and loss. Break even sales into the PV ratio is equals to the fixed cost. Sales into the PV ratio is equals to the contribution or the fixed cost plus profit, and the break even sales equals to the fixed cost divided by the PV ratio. Break even point in units is fixed cost divided by the contribution per unit, but break even sales in sales value equals to the fixed cost divided by the PV ratio. And opposite, we can calculate the PV ratio by fixed cost divided by the break even sales. Sales multiply the PV ratio is equals to the contribution. You may take the screenshot of this page also. PV ratio we have already know, contribution upon sales. Break even sales plus margin of safety means the total sales into the PV ratio equals to the contribution. And the break even sales into the PV ratio, marginal sales into the PV ratio. Basically, this is the division of this formula equals to the contribution. And when we multiply the margin of safety with the PV ratio, means from the total margin of safety, we are calculating the contribution ratio, we will get the profit. PV ratio is also the change in contribution or the change in profit divided by change in sales. Margin of safety is the profit upon PV ratio or the total sales minus break even sales. Basically, the total sales is the addition of break even sales and the margin of safety. Margin of safety is over and above your break even sales, which is basically the profit divided by the PV ratio. Contribution into sale. Last one is budgetary controls. There are different types of budgets, and nowadays zero-based budgeting plays an important role. You will start your budget from the scratch. You don't use the historical data. And other type of budgets are master budget, flexible budget, cash budget, and this one important thing is budget ratios. From this, you may be asked a theoretical question or a practical question. You have to understand the standards hours, budgeted hours, and the actual hour. What is the difference between the budgeted and the standard? You have to know the difference between those two terms. So now we'll do one more case scenario. This is the answer of first part. You may take a screenshot or you may download it from the BoS Knowledge Portal, the MTP Series 2 for September 2025 exam. This one I already said. Wages to floor supervisor and the store assistant is a part of factory overheads, not a part of direct wages. Income tax, penalty for late payment, and the contribution are avoided in the cost sheet. So we'll do the one more case scenario. You can take 2 minutes to read case scenario 2. This is basically an integrated case scenario. In this, you will cover the standard costing, marginal costing, as well as the your activity based costing. स्टार्ट करते हैं हम। सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट रीड करने का, उसके बाद हम केस सिनेरियो रीड करेंगे। What is the total product cost per unit using ABC for ACs, washing machine, refrigerators, respectively? AC is for air conditioner, WM is for washing machine, and RF is for refrigerators. So we have to calculate the total cost per unit for for all of the products respectively. We are given the four options. We'll see while calculating the answers. What is the profit per unit and the total profit for ACs, washing machine, refrigerators respectively? जब हम कॉस्ट कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे उसके बाद हम अपनी प्रॉफिट पर यूनिट कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे very easily. If we are given the sales value, I don't know whether we are given the sales value or whether we are given the profit percentage. Next one is this two question covers the ABC. And the next question is total labor efficiency variance and the labor rate variance, standard costing question. You have to calculate the labor efficiency variance and the labor rate variance. Now, if it has idle capacity of only 200 washing machines, assuming 50% overhead is variable, this is talking about fixed overhead parts or the total overhead part. Should the company accept the foreign order along with the reason? उसे करना है या नहीं करना है, हमारे पास चार ऑप्शन है और इसमें रीजन भी है हमारे पास. दिस इज ऑफ द मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग. द लास्ट वन, व्हाट इज द टोटल ओवरहेड वेरिएंस, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग. सो अब हमारे पास एबीसी भी आ गया, इसमें मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग भी आ गया और स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग भी आ गया. जो रियल लाइफ में आपके पास सिनेरियो आएगा जिसमें आपको सब कुछ देखना होगा, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग, मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग एंड एबीसी. सो अब हम रिक्वायरमेंट रीड कर लिए हमने, अब हम क्वेश्चन रीड करते हैं. हमारे पास एक जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन थी, हमारे पास मेन इंफॉर्मेशन पे आते हैं. जो हमारे पास मेन इंफॉर्मेशन है, फॉलोइंग डाटा इज अवेलेबल फॉर द क्वार्टर. यूनिट प्रोड्यूस हमारे पास गिवन है, यूनिट सोल्ड हमारे पास गिवन है, डायरेक्ट मटेरियल कॉस्ट पर यूनिट हमारे पास गिवन है, डायरेक्ट लेबर आवर्स हमारे पास पर यूनिट गिवन है. इसमें आप देखोगे यूनिट प्रोड्यूस एंड यूनिट सोल्ड, जितनी हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं सारी की सारी हम सोल्ड कर रहे हैं. हमारे पास कोई भी डिफरेंस नहीं है, यानी कि जीरो इन्वेंट्री है अभी हमारे पास. This is for the question part. You in real life scenario there is some opening inventory, there is some closing inventory, but for the question purpose there is no opening and the closing inventory. Direct labor rate given है हमारे पास, selling price per unit हमारे पास given है, और हमारे पास प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट हमें निकालनी थी क्वेश्चन में, और उसके बाद प्रॉफिट निकालना है. तो प्रॉफिट हमारा इन दोनों का डिफरेंस आ जाएगा. सेलिंग प्राइस और प्रोडक्ट का हमारे पास जो डिफरेंस आएगा ये हमारा प्रॉफिट हो जाएगा. स्टैंडर्ड लेबर आवर्स हमारे पास गिवन है तीनों के लिए. ओवरहेड कॉस्ट हमारी, ये सब हमारा एबीसी में पार्ट आएगा. दिस इज द कॉस्ट ड्राइवर एंड कॉस्ट ड्राइवर क्वांटिटीज. एक्टिविटी क्या हमारे पास, मशीन सेटअप है हमारे पास, क्वालिटी इंस्पेक्शन है, मटेरियल हैंडलिंग है, यूटिलिटीज एंड मेंटेनेंस है. उसका टोटल ओवरहेड अमाउंट कितनी है, 9 लाख, 6 लाख, 7 लाख 50,000, 15 लाख. कॉस्ट ड्राइवर्स क्या है, हमारे मशीन सेटअप्स है तो हमारे नंबर ऑफ सेटअप्स के बेसिस पे, क्वालिटी इंस्पेक्शन है तो नंबर ऑफ इंस्पेक्शन के बेसिस पे, मटेरियल हैंडलिंग है तो नंबर ऑफ मटेरियल मूव्स के बेसिस पे, यूटिलिटीज एंड मेंटेनेंस है तो हमारे मशीन आवर्स के बेसिस पे. टोटल हमारे पास 180 सेटअप्स है, 300 इंस्पेक्शंस है, 500 मूव्स है, 30,000 मशीन आवर्स है. एक्टिविटी ड्राइवर कंजम्पशन भी हमारे पास, तीनों प्रोडक्ट के लिए कितने सेटअप यूज हुए हैं, वॉशिंग मशीन, रेफ्रिजरेटर है, एसी के लिए कितने सेटअप्स यूज हुए हैं, कितने इंस्पेक्शंस की गई है, कितने मटेरियल मूव्स हुए हैं, एंड द टोटल नंबर ऑफ मशीन आवर्स फॉर ईच प्रोडक्ट हैज बीन यूज्ड इज गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन. Sunbright also received a special orders from our foreign buyers for 500 washing machines at 12,000 each. Currently हम कितने पे सेल कर रहे हैं, 14,000 पे. तो हमारे पास 2,000 पे कम का ऑर्डर आया है, लेकिन हमारा फॉरेन ऑर्डर है तो हम इसमें दो हमारे पास फायदे हैं. एक, हमारे पास फॉरेन ऑर्डर फुलफिल करेंगे, एक्सपोर्ट होगा हमारा. प्लस हमारी गुडविल इंप्रूव होगी. वी आर एबल टू earn more profit if there is less opportunity cost in comparison to the profit. So this order also requires an additional packing cost of 150 cents. फॉरेन ऑर्डर है, हमें बाहर भेजना है, तो इसके लिए हमें एडिशनल पैकेजिंग करनी पड़ेगी, जिसका हमारा खर्चा आता है 150 पर यूनिट का. However, no marketing cost will be incurred. हमें कोई मार्केटिंग नहीं करनी है, ऑर्डर हमारे पास खुद आया है. इससे हमारी ऑटोमेटिक फ्यूचर मार्केटिंग होगी. बल्कि ऑल्सो इट कैन बी एक्सेप्टेड ओनली फुली. हम ये नहीं कर सकते, हमारे पास, हमने क्वेश्चन में रीड करा था 200 वॉशिंग मशीन की हमारे पास कैपेसिटी आइडल पड़ी है कि हम 200 मशीन सिर्फ सेल कर दे. हमें 500 की 500 सेल करनी है. बजटेड ओवरहेड ऑफ द कंपनी इज 37 लाख इन टोटल. सो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं टोटल प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट से. टोटल प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट हमारे पास कैसे आएगी? एसी, वॉशिंग मशीन, रेफ्रिजरेटर्स. इनमें सबसे पहले मटेरियल आएगा हमारे पास. मटेरियल कॉस्ट हमारे पास गिवन है तीनों. लेबर हमारे पास यूनिट्स गिवन है. लेबर कॉस्ट हम यहाँ निकाल के दिखाते हैं. हमारे पास 6 घंटे गिवन है, और हमारे पास कितने रुपए पर आवर का रेट है वो हमारे पास गिवन है. हमारे पास टोटल लेबर आ जाएगी 6 इंटू 250, 4 into 250, and the 5 into 250, which is 1500, 1000 and the 1250. मटेरियल हमारे पास 7500 हो गया. हमारे पास वॉशिंग मशीन का 5000 हो गया, and the 6000 for the refrigerator. Now we have to calculate the overhead. ओवरहेड हमारा मेन कैलकुलेशन है फॉर ABC. इसमें हमारे नंबर ऑफ सेटअप्स गिवन है, तो हम पर सेटअप कॉस्ट निकाल लेंगे. ये बताओ मुझे, 9 लाख को 180 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो हमारा कितना आएगा? यस राहुल, राइट. 5000 पर सेटअप. इंस्पेक्शन हमारा कितना आएगा? 2000 पर सेटअप. मटेरियल मूव्स कितने आएगा पर मूव? 1500. एंड देन पर मशीन आवर हमारा आ गया 50. हमारे पास अब गिवन है सेटअप फॉर ऑल द प्रोडक्ट, इंस्पेक्शन, मटेरियल मूव्स एंड द गे. हम इसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तीनों को सिंगली. 5000, 5000 एंड द 5000. इसमें हम मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 2000, 2000, 2000. इसमें हम मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 1500, 1500 एंड देन 1500. इसमें 50, 50, 50. या मुझे सबका टोटल बताइए कितना कितना आ गया. सेटअप कॉस्ट हमारी कितनी आ गई? टेक 2 मिनट्स. 3 लाख, 2,50,000 एंड 2,50,000. एसी का अब हम टोटल पहले देखेंगे, एसी का कितना आ गया, वॉशिंग मशीन का कितना आएगा, रेफ्रिजरेटर का कितना आएगा. 3 लाख, 1,80,000, 3 लाख, 6 लाख. टोटल हमारा हो गया 13,80,000. देन 3,50,000, 2 लाख, 7,50,000, 2,25,000. देन 5 लाख. इसका टोटल कितना हो गया? ये इसका नहीं का, राइट, 12,75,000. देन रेफ्रिजरेटर का हमारा टोटल कितना हो गया? 2,50,000, 2,20,000, 2,25,000 एंड द 4 लाख. टोटल बताइए मुझे. राइट राहुल, राइट. बाकी लोग भी पार्टिसिपेट करो गाइस. इसी से आपकी स्पीड भी बढ़ेगी और आप प्रैक्टिस भी कर पाएंगे. ठीक है. हमारी यूनिट प्रोड्यूस कितनी थी? इसकी 5000 थी, इसकी 6000 थी, इसकी 4000 थी। हमारे पास पर यूनिट का कितना आ गया बताइए मुझे फॉर एसी। राइट वंशिका, 276 फॉर एसी। वॉशिंग मशीन का 212.50, राइट। एंड फॉर रेफ्रिजरेटर 273.75। हमारे पास ओवरहेड यहाँ पे आ गया पर यूनिट का 276, 212.50, 273.50। इसका हम टोटल निकालेंगे, टोटल कॉस्ट पर यूनिट 9276, 6212.50, 7523.50। ऑप्शन में देखता हूँ कि कौन से वाला है। 9276, 6212.50, 7523.75। ये हमारा फर्स्ट पार्ट इसका आंसर हो गया है। चलिए नेक्स्ट पार्ट पे चलते हैं, प्रॉफिट पर यूनिट। इसमें हम यहाँ देख लेते हैं सेलिंग प्राइस हमारा कितना गिवन था, ऊपर जाके देखते हैं 18,000, 14,000, 16,000। प्रॉफिट हमारा कितना आ गया ये बताइए दोनों की कैलकुलेशन करके। कनिका, राहुल, अदिति, भव्य, ज्योति, बताइए मुझे कितना प्रॉफिट आ गया पर यूनिट। राइट, 8274। फॉर एसी, वॉशिंग मशीन का कितना आ गया। राइट राइट अदिति, राइट, 7787.5। राइट कनिका, 8476.25। टोटल प्रॉफिट हमारा यूनिट से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे। यूनिट कितनी थी हमारी, 5000, 6000 एंड 4000। ये तीनों का टोटल बताया। ये इसका नहीं, ये सब आप रफ में जैसे मैं अभी कर रहा हूँ आप रफ में अपने एग्जाम में कर सकते हैं। आप ऐसी कैलकुलेटर पे इसको रफली लिख के आप कैलकुलेटर पे कैलकुलेशन कर सकते हैं और आप अपना आंसर करते जा सकते हैं। आप जैसे मर्जी करिए, केस सिनेरियो एमसीक्यूज में आपका यही बेनिफिट है, आप उसको किसी भी तरीके से अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हैं। आपको जस्ट आंसर मार्क करके आना है। आप उसको स्क्रिबल कर रहे हो, आप उसको स्क्रिबल भी मत करो, कैलकुलेटर पे करो, लेकिन स्क्रिबल करने में ये होता है आपकी कोई, आपको पता लग जाता है कोई गलती तो नहीं आ रही है कुछ उसमें, कोई नंबर फिगर कैलकुलेटर पे गलती से गलत डल गई हो तो आपकी वो एक री चेक हो सकता है स्क्रिबल करने की वजह से। ये साहब मुझे इसका बताइए कितना आया एसी का। यस राइट, 4,36,20,000। वॉशिंग मशीन का बताइए मुझे। यस राइट, 4,67,25,000। और रेफ्रिजरेटर का 3,39,05,000। ये वाला हम ऑप्शन देखते हैं किस में आ रहा है। हमारा प्रॉफिट पर यूनिट कितना आया था, 8274, 7787.5, 8476.25, and total profit is 4,36,000, 4,36,20,000, 4,67,25,000, 3,39,05,000। So answer is B. अब हम नेक्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट पे जाते हैं, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग। व्हाट इज द लेबर एफिशिएंसी वेरिएंस एंड द लेबर रेट वेरिएंस। एफिशिएंसी वेरिएंस का हमारा फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? स्टैंडर्ड आर माइनस एक्चुअल आर इनटू स्टैंडर्ड रेट। लेबर रेट वेरिएंस का हमारा होता है स्टैंडर्ड रेट माइनस एक्चुअल रेट इनटू एक्चुअल आर। अब हमें स्टैंडर्ड रेट, एक्चुअल रेट, स्टैंडर्ड एक्चुअल आर कैलकुलेट करना है। हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड आर पर यूनिट गिवन है और टोटल नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स गिवन है। हमारे पास टोटल स्टैंडर्ड आर्स आ जाएंगे इसको और इसको मल्टीप्लाई करने पे। आप मुझे बताइए कितना आया स्टैंडर्ड आर्स? यस, 27,500। Yes, for washing machine 21,000, for 3.5 into 6,000, and for refrigerator it's 22,000. Actual hours are this one, and we have to multiply with the total units. Actual hours हमारे कितने आ गए? आप मुझे मल्टीप्लाई करके बताइए। 6 into 5,000 30,000, 4 into 6,000 24,000, 4,000 into 5 20,000। एक्चुअल आ गया, स्टैंडर्ड आ गया, हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड रेट गिवन है। फिर इज द स्टैंडर्ड रेट, this one. This is standard and actual. Since we have nothing given in the question what is standard, there is, if there is difference between the standard and the actual, we'll assume that standard rate and the actual rate are the same in this question. There is no difference between the standard and the actual. Now I'll calculate for the ACs. AC, washing machine and the रेफ्रिजरेटर। स्टैंडर्ड आर हमारे कितने आए थे एसी में? 27,500 माइनस 30,000 हमारे एक्चुअल आर थे। स्टैंडर्ड रेट हमारा था 250। 250 हमारा तीनों में था। इसका हमारे स्टैंडर्ड आर्स कितने आए थे? 21,000 माइनस 24,000। इसमें हमारा आएगा 22,000 माइनस 20,000। तीनों की कैलकुलेशन मुझे बताइए। सिंस एक आपको रेट वेरिएंस का मैं बताता हूँ, इतने आप इसकी कैलकुलेशन करना। स्टैंडर्ड रेट हमारा 250 है, एक्चुअल रेट हमारा 250 है तीनों केस में, तो हमारा ये सीधा सीधा जीरो आ जाएगा। लेबर रेट वेरिएंस हमारा जीरो आएगा। अब हमें देखना और किसी में भी कुछ आ रहा है, अभी हम ये डायरेक्ट कभी कभी हमें देखना है, इसमें हम कैलकुलेशन सेव कर सकते हैं, अपना टाइम सेव कर सकते हैं इस वाले क्वेश्चन में। हम लेबर रेट वेरिएंस जैसे हम निकाल रहे हैं, यहाँ पे हमें ऊपर पार्ट में दिख गया कि हमारा रेट दोनों एक्चुअल और स्टैंडर्ड सेम है, तो हमारा लेबर रेट वेरिएंस जीरो आएगा। तो हम देख सकते हैं लेबर रेट वेरिएंस दो में ही जीरो आ रहा है। तो हम जब आंसर करेंगे तो हमारा मैच हो जाना चाहिए इन दोनों में से एक का, तो हमारा ये डुअल मैचिंग हो गई। एक आंसर और एक हमें कंफर्म हो गया कि दो तो हमारे सॉल्यूशन हट ही गया साइड, 50-50 का आपका हो गया। जस्ट लाइक केबीसी आपके पास 50-50 का ऑप्शन हो गया, दो आपके ऑप्शन गायब हो गए। अब हमारा ईसीओ कितना आया? 6,25,000 एडवर्स। वॉशिंग मशीन का कितना आया एंड रेफ्रिजरेटर का कितना आया? बताइए मुझे। यस राहुल, यू आर राइट। 7,50,000 फॉर वॉशिंग मशीन एडवर्स एंड रेफ्रिजरेटर का, राहुल बताइए। यस, 5 लाख फेवरेबल। इन तीनों का टोटल हमारा आ गया, निकालने की नीड है हमें, नीड है 8,75,000। अब आप देख सकते हो ये दोनों बड़े हैं एडवर्स के, तो आपको ये इनकी शायद कैलकुलेशन भी करने की जरूरत ना पड़े। आपका फेवरेबल आ रहा है एक, और एक एडवर्स आ रहा है, तो आपका एडवर्स वाले पे आप सीधा टिक करोगे। इन दिस वे यू कैन सेव योर टाइम। आपका हिट एंड ट्रायल के थ्रू आप जस्ट लाइक IITs जी, इन सब के एग्जाम होते हैं, उसमें इसी तरीके से आपको कैलकुलेट करना पड़ता है। अगर आपके पास 3-4 रिक्वायरमेंट है, आपने एक करा और वो सिंगल रिक्वायरमेंट ही MCQ में गिवन है और आप फेवरेबल का गिवन है, तो आपको एडवर्स वाला सेलेक्ट कर रहा है, फेवरेबल फेवरेबल वाला आपको देखना ही नहीं, एडवर्स वाला आपने सेलेक्ट करा, आपका आंसर डन। आपका टाइम सेव कैलकुलेशन के लिए, तो फेवरेबल वाला आपका हट गया, एडवर्स वाला आपका आ गया, आपका टाइम सेव हो गया। नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अभी तक किसी को कोई डाउट इसमें? मैं 2 मिनट रुकता हूँ, किसी को कोई डाउट है तो मुझे बताइए। राहुल, कनिका, ज्योति, भव्य, अदिति, किसी को कोई भी डाउट हो तो प्लीज बताइए। वंशिका, अदिति, आपको कोई डाउट इस क्वेश्चन में, या कोई और? वंशिका, राहुल, आपको कोई डाउट? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे फिर हम मूव करते हैं। हमारे पास आइडल कैपेसिटी है 200 यूनिट्स की, 500 यूनिट्स का हमारे पास ऑर्डर आया था, हम ऑलरेडी रीड कर चुके हैं। 50% ओवरहेड्स हमारे वेरिएबल है, ये हमारा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करेगा। दिस इंफॉर्मेशन शुड द कंपनी एक्सेप्ट द फॉरेन ऑर्डर अलॉन्ग विद द रीजन। अब हमें बताना है, अब इसमें हम क्या करेंगे, इसमें हम इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट निकालेंगे, इंक्रीमेंटल प्रॉफिट निकालेंगे, अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट निकालेंगे, क्योंकि हम 300 यूनिट तो हमें करंट ऑर्डर में से देनी पड़ेगी ऑर्डर फुलफिल करने के लिए। अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट निकालेंगे, सबका कंपैरिजन करेंगे। इन दिस वे वी विल गेट द आंसर। अभी हमारे पास ऑफर्ड प्राइस क्या है, 12,000। हम ऊपर जाके इसको सॉल्व करते हैं, इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे पास ऊपर गिवन है। हमारे पास डायरेक्ट मटेरियल कॉस्ट कितनी थी, वॉशिंग मशीन की 5,000, लेबर कॉस्ट 1,000 एंड द एडिशनल पैकेजिंग कॉस्ट इसमें रिक्वायर्ड थी, यानी कि 5,000 प्लस 1,000 प्लस 150, 12,000 में से हमारी माइनस होगी। माइनस इसमें एक और चीज होगी, टोटल ओवरहेड जो है 50% वेरिएबल है। हमारा पर यूनिट कितना आया था इसका, 212.50, 50% वेरिएबल है, तो हम सिर्फ वेरिएबल पार्ट को ही कवर करेंगे। हमारे ये टोटल बताइए कितना आ गया, 5,000 प्लस 1,000 प्लस 150 प्लस 106.25, ये हमारा टोटल बताइए कितना आ गया। यस, कनिका राइट, 6256.25। अब हमारे पास इंक्रीमेंटल प्रॉफिट कितना आ गया? 12,000 में से हम माइनस करेंगे 5743.75। 200 यूनिट पे हमारा प्रॉफिट कितना आ जाएगा टोटल, मुझे बताइए। अभी हम 200 यूनिट का देख रहे हैं क्योंकि ये हमारे पास एडिशन कैपेसिटी है। 300 यूनिट का भी हम देखेंगे उसमें कितना बचता है हमारा। यस राइट शुभांगी, 1,48,750। ये हमारे पास प्रॉफिट आ गया 200 यूनिट का। अब हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट निकालनी है 300 यूनिट की। अभी हमारे पास कितने पे बेच रहे हैं हम? 14,000 पे। 12,000 हमारी करंट कॉस्ट है, इसमें हमारा एक करंट हमें रिसीव होगा, इसमें हम 150 प्लस करेंगे और इसको टोटल को हम 300 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे। ये 2,000 की हमारी अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट है प्लस 150 की और है, टोटल हमारा आ गया 2150 इंटू 300। टोटल कॉस्ट हमारी कितनी आ गई बताइए मुझे। यस राइट राइट राइट, 6,45,000। ये कॉस्ट है हमारे पास, ये प्रॉफिट है। नेट हमारा प्रॉफिट कितना आ गया, इन दोनों का डिफरेंस मुझे बताइए। राइट, 5,03,750। तो हमारे पास ऑर्डर हम एक्सेप्ट करेंगे इसका। कोई इसमें किसी को डाउट? यस, इसमें कोई अमाउंट गिवन नहीं है। यस, कॉजेज अ नेट प्रॉफिट ऑफ 5,03,750। ये वाला हमारा आंसर हो गया है इसका। कोई डाउट किसी को इसमें? कोई डाउट है तो बताइए, मैं 2 मिनट रुका हूं। तो यस आदिति, हमारे पास 200 कैपेसिटी है और 300 हम अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट के लिए कैलकुलेट करेंगे। राइट वंशिका? अब हम नेक्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट पे आते हैं। टोटल ओवरहेड वेरिएंस हमारे पास ऊपर गिवन था। बजटेड ओवरहेड हमारा कितना है? 37 लाख। टोटल ओवरहेड वेरिएंस का फॉर्मूला क्या है? एक्चुअल माइनस बजटेड। बजटेड हमारे पास 37 लाख है। टोटल हम एक्चुअल हम इसका टोटल कर लेंगे। इसका मुझे टोटल बताइए आप कितना आया। यह शुभांगी, कनिका, राहुल, ज्योति, वंशिका। यस राइट, 37 लाख 50,000 एक्चुअल हमारा हो गया 37 लाख 50,000 minus 37 lakh equals to 50,000 adverse since actual overheads are more than the budgeted overheads. इसमें कहा है डी आंसर हमारा हो गया एडवर्स. कोई किसी को कोई भी डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी. अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट आता है यू कैन mail us or you can ask your query on the query portal app. Our mail ID is cma-inter@icai.in. You will note the email ID. You can ask on this. So we'll reply back on those queries. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. We'll wait for 2 minutes. Otherwise, we'll end the session over here. यस राहुल, आप पेपर में जब आप लिख रहे होंगे तो आपको कोशिश करना है कि पॉइंट वाइज आप लिखो थ्योरी के लिए जो पॉसिबल है. जो पॉसिबल नहीं है उसमें आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, उसमें आप नॉर्मल लिखो. लेकिन जहाँ पॉइंट वाइज आप पॉसिबल हो लिख सकते हो वहाँ पॉइंट वाइज लिख के आप उसको बोल्ड करना है आपको. कोई और किसी को कोई और डाउट? काम रह के सब चीजें अपना स्ट्रैटेजिकली फॉलो करना है. स्ट्रैटेजिकली आपको अटेम्प्ट करना है अपना क्वेश्चन पेपर. Because hard work along with the smart work play a crucial role. Only hard work or only smart work will doesn't lead to your success until unless you are so much lucky enough. Only your smart work or hard work will lead to the success. You have to do both the part side by side, hard work as well as the smart work. और कोई डाउट किसी को? So हम यहाँ पे सेशन फिर एंड करते हैं. Thank you so much students for such a wonderful session. Tech team, end in 1 minute. Yeah. Thank you so much students for such a wonderful audience. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you so much. Please end.